Thanks for joining me on Easy Vaping, where I bring you honest reviews, and today we're here to talk about the KRIXUS by Horizon Tech. This tank was sent to me free for the purpose of this review from Subtank Supply. They have these in stock, and I believe they're selling them for around $30. Without further ado, let's drop down and talk about it. The KRIXUS by Horizon Tech. This is everything that's included minus the extra coil because I had mine sitting out on my desk the day I did spring cleaning, and long story short, I have no idea where it's at. But we still have a perfectly good working coil in there, and they say I should get 6 months out of it, so I shouldn't have to worry for a while. Alright. So here we have the box of organic Japanese cotton. They cut these into strips for you so you can wrap your coils with. There we are. I've used one, and here's 4 more. Put those back in there for safekeeping. I recommend if you end up using all these, either A, keep one as a template, or B, just save the box or write down the measurements so you have an idea of the length that you're going to want to use for these. Alright. Here we have the spare glass section with a bag of assorted O-rings. You can change them over to red for the glass if you would like. And finally, the KRIXUS itself. 1, 2, 3, 4 airflow channels right here. Now this one goes all the way and then locks and stops, which I like. It doesn't keep spinning, and then comes all the way open and once again stops. And then our 510 compatible drip tip here. Nice wide bore. Looks like it's a Delrin on the inside for probably better for the heat, not getting so hot. Does a pretty good job of that. We have our top flow or top fill right here. Nice wide channels. You can put the dripper. You can put a dripper right into there, no problem. Nice smooth threads. A couple of knurls right here on the top so you can grab onto it. And then take the base section out. And then here we have our coil that I just put this together, and actually now I'm filming this second. But anyway, here we have the coil that I just put new cotton onto and burned it off. It's pretty black before, you'll see in a minute. Overall, very well constructed. Everything feels, smooth, well in place. Everything, just very well constructed tank right here. Let's go ahead and we'll fill this up. No juice flow control on this, so when you do fill it, you do get some pretty gurgly type of vapes at first, but then after you vape on it for a while, that goes away. So here we have it after 20 days consecutive use. You can see quite a bit of burning on it. Interesting, here we have this section around here that doesn't have any. Makes me think it's not heating very evenly. I guess it would be kind of hard to make this heat evenly when they have it all the cutouts different, but maybe that's something they can work on. Here, let's burn this off. I have this set to 25 watts, reading at 0.3 ohms. Let's heat this up. Starting to sizzle a little bit. I did rinse this off. Oh wow, that's interesting. Just kind of pulsing it now. I don't really care to get it really red hot. Just enough to make that dark spots go away. Yeah, it's definitely getting hotter on the other side. We can you can see it's glowing over here, but not glowing over here. So that's unfortunate. I think we need to work on something to make these a little better. I'm not sold on these coils yet, and maybe that's part of it, is that that it's not, you know, firing evenly. So and so there's still some browning on here, but all the black is gone, so that's good for me. Even on the inside, you can see how much lighter it is in there. Before we couldn't even really see in there on camera, and now you can actually see down in there. All right, so now let's rewick this thing. All right, so we can take one of these supplied pieces of cotton. Yeah, that's one. All right. So I'd kind of flatten this out right away. You don't really want this real poofy when you try wrapping this. We're going to take some of this beard number 32 right here. And paint some e-juice onto it. Get this straighten back out, starting to askew in my hand. Alright, I'm going to put a little more on here. Alright. Now it's going to hold all that down nice and good, and then as it wraps around onto itself, moisten what you're wrapping onto and hold it all into place. Alright, now I left that raised slightly off the very bottom here because it's going to come down as you go, and I didn't want anything getting bunched up at the bottom and not being able to catch the threads as easy. And there, we've got it on there. And there we have it. Kind of a pain at first. I paused this and pulled it back, and I just basically pinched it and wrapped it extra tight. That first wrap is the most important wrap, because everything else, if you have the first one too fluffy, well, everything is going to be too fluffy. So that first one is the most important and the most difficult. But once you get that wrap tight and you pull everything else tightly around it, it actually goes on fairly decent. All right, now that we've seen it up close and in person here, let's talk about this a bit. So let's jump right into the pros and cons. The cons. At first, this little coil can be a bit of a pain to rewick. The first time, it's kind of just feeling it out and getting the hang of it. Like I said, if you wet it down, it seems to go on easier. The more you wet it, the easier it seems to go for me anyway. Uh, the so it's a slight pain the first time. Sometimes every now and again it can still be a pain. Anyway, the other con is that it's ceramic and the coil is very fragile. You can be wrapping it, and if you apply a little too much pressure one way or the other, you could snap it right off. Or you could literally just crush it right in your fingers. They're very fragile. Um, oh yeah, and then that's the big one I wanted to say about the coils is that these coils, they don't burn quite evenly. As we saw down in the up close, it was more charred on one side versus the other. So I'd like to see companies try to improve upon these coils. I think that this could get better. It's not bad, but I think it could get better. And we need to try to get these coils to burn more evenly because let's face it, we're getting burned on one side, not on the other. All right, now let's go on to the pros. They say we have a 6-month lifespan on this coil. I have pushed this a month and a couple of weeks so far, and it is the same coil. I actually, as I said before, I've lost my other coil, so I have no choice but to keep using this coil, and thank goodness I've had no issues with it. Just re-wicking it and then keep going. Uh, this thing has a great quality feel, just overall very good, very smooth, nice threads. We have a knurled end up here to grab onto and get your top cap off easier. We have some texture down here at the bottom so we can just grab the base and unscrew it easily. Uh, Theoretically, we should be able to save a lot of money with these ceramic coils. I am not 100% sold on them yet. I think that it gives a decent vape, but I can still build, in my RDAs, I can get a lot better flavor, um, definitely more vapor production. You have to have this, for me, I have to have this cranked up pretty high just to do anything. I mean, for instance, I have a fresh charged battery in here, 75 watts on Powerful Plus, and that's the only way I can really get a halfway decent vape off of this unit. More so if, say, I'm running it on like a DNA device, I'd run it right up around 90 to 100 is where I would run it on one of those. Just happens to be this is what I'm using for right now. Still produces vapor, just not what I'm used to. I like a little denser, a little more vape out of it for myself. But it's still not a bad vape. It just probably more so for your novice vapors versus your advanced vapors. Um, I would think this would be something good to get into to save money, try it out, see how you like it, and go from there. Uh, I'll say if I broke this beyond repair, would I have to go out and buy another one? I'm kind of on the fence about it. Right now, the ceramic stuff is somewhat newer. I think they're going to have a lot of improvements if they keep trying. I'd like to see what those improvements are. Like I said, not a bad vape, but I think they can do better. Uh, that'll pretty much wrap this up. Thanks for joining me on Easy Vaping, where I bring you honest reviews. See you next time.